In this video, I got a major update on the landfall of what is now post-tropical cyclone Lee. And I'm also going to be taking a look at the severe weather chances for the next few days. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. Howdy y'all, welcome back. As you can see, we have what is now post-tropical cyclone Lee with wind speeds of 75 mile an hour, max gust of 90. Quickly weakened down from a category 1 hurricane yesterday, which brought 65 mile an hour winds and a low pressure of 965 millibars. Currently making landfall over Nova Scotia and is expected to make landfall over southern New Brunswick later this evening with wind speeds of 60 mile an hour, max gusts of 70. And now, according to the National Hurricane Center, as we take a look at the wording, we can see that we could expect hurricane conditions over by Maine, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, even over there by New Hampshire and Massachusetts as well. So expect power outages due to downed trees and some flooding today and even into tonight. Now, even though if you're over there on the east coast of the country, down by Florida and down by the Caribbean islands, expect some dangerous surf and life-threatening rip currents due to Tropical Cyclone Lee. Although you're not being directly affected by Lee, y'all are going to be expecting some pretty choppy seas out there. So just please be aware of that. And I'm sure y'all are curious what other kind of hurricanes or tropical storms are forming out there in the Atlantic, because we still got Margaret out here that's churning around, doing the spinning like Booker T. Looks like that's just going to remain a tropical storm as it churns out there into the Atlantic, becomes a little fish storm as it turns into a tropical depression by Tuesday. And we have another system right here called Tropical Depression 15, supposed to become a tropical storm later this evening, turn into a hurricane by Monday, and then it's going to do a little recurve pattern and become another fish storm. And we have a 30% chance for tropical storm development out here in the main development region. Something to keep your eye out on. I'll put the wording here if you want to read it. Pause the video anytime. As we look out here in the Pacific, we have a 40% chance. Again, I'll put the wording up here if you want to read it. We have a lot of activity going on in the Atlantic and the Pacific, and we even have 12-E out here. It's going to remain a tropical depression as we head into Sunday. So, with the Atlantic and the Pacific heating up with tropical storms and hurricanes, let's go and see what kind of severe weather could be coming our way. As we take a look at the severe weather threats for the next few days, we can see we got a couple marginal risks for today. One from southern Wisconsin down into Kansas and Nebraska, and one down here by Houston, Texas. The main threats today is mainly going to be damaging winds and large hail, which is a low-end threat today, but still a threat nonetheless. There is no tornado threat today, so that's good. As we head off into Sunday, there is a marginal risk, which includes eastern South Carolina and eastern Georgia. Now, the only threat down there is mainly just going to be a damaging wind threat. Really, not much to worry about there. As we head off into Monday, there's just general thunderstorm chances as severe weather season starts to wind down. So let's go and take a look at the time frames and when you could expect the worst of the severe weather for the next couple of days. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at the HRRR model. Keep in mind that date and time is over here if you want to keep track. And as we zoom in, I would expect the worst of the severe weather if you live down here by Houston, Texas. I would expect the worst to happen from right around 2 o'clock through right around 4 or 5 o'clock is when I would expect that. And if you live up there in the northern marginal risk zone from Kansas up into Wisconsin, I would expect severe weather to occur from right around 7 o'clock through right around midnight. Now, as far as the damaging winds go, I would expect upwards of 10 to 20 mile an hour winds with occasional 30 mile an hour wind gusts with any storm that pops up today. So just please be aware of that. And if anything out there you don't want blown around, make sure you tie it up or bring it in. If you don't want anything damaged from hail today, make sure you bring that in as well. So let's go ahead and push off into Sunday, where we're going to lower resolution down to the NAM 3-kilometer model. Keep in mind tomorrow, the damaging wind threat is the primary threat. It looks like the coast of North Carolina is included in that marginal risk as well. So we push this forward. Other than damaging winds, I would expect some major flooding tomorrow, as we could expect some heavy rain over a short period of time. As you can see over here northwest of Charleston, we're getting some heavy rain, which could bring 10 to 20 mile an hour winds with any storm. This could occur from right around 5 o'clock through right around midnight, and it's going to start weakening down and turn into some heavy showers and thunderstorms, which again, the primary threat is just going to be damaging winds. So now that we know the primary threats for the next few days and the timing, and we know what kind of tropical storms and hurricanes are out there in the Atlantic and in the Pacific, let's go and take a look at what we could expect as we head into the end of September. And to take a look at this, we're going to take a look at the troughing and ridging patterns on the 500 millibar height anomaly map. Once Tropical Storm Lee moves out a major trough is going to set in for the eastern part of the country, while a major ridge is going to set in for the central and western part of the country. Now, this could mean some summer-like temperatures could be possible for the western part of the country, while some fall-like temperatures could be expected and remain out here for the eastern part of the country. And as we head off into the end of the month is when I would expect a major pattern flip. Now, this is pretty far out. I think Canada will change by then, as it looks like a major ridge is going to start to take over. Now, what happens in between that's going to be pretty interesting. As you can see, these two low pressure systems right here, this could mean some severe weather could be possible. And to take a look at that, we're going to take a look at the simulated radar. And once Tropical Storm Lee moves out, we're going to be experiencing a lot of heavy rain and flooding and some severe weather for the central part of the country and eastern part of the country, with the primary threats mainly just going to be damaged winds and large hail. We could experience some heavy rainfall for the northeastern part of the country. We could be dealing with even more severe weather down by Texas. And it looks like a soggy pattern could be in store as we head towards the end of the month. Lastly, let's take a look at what kind of temperatures we could expect on the temperature anomaly map. Now, we're not going to go over the 6 to 10 day temperature and precipitation outlook in this video. I will have a full in-depth forecast on the next video, so make sure you're subscribed and put the bell notifications on so you never miss an upload. Because here at Williams Weather, we make weather fun and informative. We know we've been pretty cool here as of late for the eastern part of the country. We've been sort of above average for the northwest part of the country, but I would expect this pattern to flip as we head into the end of the month. As you can see, cooler temperatures out here in the central western part of the country by the 25th, and some above average temperatures out here for much of the Midwest part of the country. So it looks like an above average temperature trend is expected as we head towards the end of the month, but this week it looks like fall-like temperatures are going to stick around for a little while for the eastern part of the country, while it looks like the northwest part of the country is going to be coming into an above average temperature trend. So don't get used to these fall-like temperatures just yet, because it looks like summertime heat is going to be returning. And it looks like once Tropical Storm Lee moves out, it looks like a little drying pattern is going to be in store until the end of the month, where it looks like a soggy pattern is expected, and we could encounter some more severe weather. And it looks like the tropics are heating up as we have a 30% chance in the Atlantic and a 40% chance in the Pacific. So it's definitely something to keep our eye out on, and I will keep an eye on it as this does progress. And make sure you're subscribed with bell notifications turned on so you never miss an upload, and make sure you hit that like button as well so more people will see this and be informed, as here on Williams Weather we make weather fun and informative. Again, please hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed down below. Constructive feedback is always appreciated. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in, and until next time, never stop forecasting.